It is time. Which is a terrible Liu Kang impression, but this video is going to go over some of the most important information, predictions on update 5.1, which is the milestone in MK Mobile. We jumped from 4.2 straight to 5.0. First off, I would like to say that update 5.1 would most likely be coming out in October after Edenian Tower ends. However, when update 5.0 was released, Elderwind Tower was still in the game, and it was still ongoing. So it's possible that maybe the update actually might take place in September, potentially. Although, it would be very late September. I, for one, think they're either going to make the update after Edenian Tower ends, or just slightly before it ends. Remember, Edenian Tower comes to a close on October 4th at 9 p.m. Central Time. And for MK1's release, we have to go over whether we think the developers are going to go in the direction of adding more MK11 characters, or finally start adding some juicy MK1 characters. Let's get into this. For this video, we're going to make it extremely easy to digest. I'm going to have chapters separating each part, which is going to make it nice and easy for everyone to consume. This section is going to cover 5.0, my brief overall opinion on it. It's important for this prediction because it says a lot about 5.1. Number one, the crypt is amazing, okay? There are some faults. The repetitive nature, it's time consuming. The crashing, crypt keys are a little annoying because it gets converted if you want to save, so you can't save up the things you want. And lastly, the equipment shop is not big enough. There needs to be a few more equipments in there. Other than that, it's a great addition. So many people talk about the negatives when we just got a brand new game mode that was supposed to have the brand new character in there, but they still gave us a pack to get classic movie Sonya Blade, and a tower, a repeat tower, is going to have her as well. Edenian Fatal Tower. This says a lot about paving the way for 5.1. If we already see so many great changes, we can only expect them to, hammer down on them, take those suggestions, and that's why I wanted to cover the main faults, because hopefully developers see this and they're able to improve based on those suggestions. My crypt video from before, here's a few things. Speed up the games with crypt keys. Crypt keys maybe reduce the amount of fights you have to do, or just reduce the amount of floors you have to do. Something like that, because having all those crypt hearts you grinded for go right back into crypt keys just to have to do it all over again is not a great system. Making everything a little bit more efficient, like a claim all at the end, not having to actually claim every single chest, just to claim all at the end would be nice. More equipment added to the store, and yes, reducing the amount of crashes on the crypt, but come on guys. Do you think they're genuinely going to be able to pull that off? I've noticed the game is a little bit more efficient and doesn't crash as often when we're not talking about the crypt, but the crypt makes my phone pretty hot, so I think it's just that game mode. Maybe it's just not optimized fully yet. Most things have been optimized pretty well though. I haven't noticed as much crashing in anything else besides the crypt. Those are my suggestions and improvements for Update 5.0's crypt. I think they're going to hone in on a few of those things in 5.1. I think they're going to make a few little nitpick changes. Overall, you're able to buy a specific character in a game mode that you're grinding in. No chance whatsoever. You just go to the store and you buy it. And the gear too. No having to rely on getting the brutality piece epic that you needed. You just go in the store and buy it. That's amazing. And I don't think a lot of people respect that as much as it should be. As long as they, optimize it a little bit better in the future to make it more efficient, this could be the future for MK Mobile. The last thing I'm going to say for this section is that with the crypt's introduction, I think it's potentially possible that towers will not be added every single update. Although, it's a little strange that the newest gears, they're still able to be dropped even when the equipment is out of rotation, so you can't buy it. Next update, what's gonna happen? Where is that equipment going to go? is there just going to be double drops. If they add more crypt equipment and don't add new towers, we're just going to have 2 brand new equipments available in the shop and they drop, but the old ones do too. That's the concerning part. That's not going to be the focus of this video, but I wanted to bring that up because it's an interesting point that I think 5.1 is going to have to tackle. I do hope they continue doing towers on the side, so maybe we get a tower in one update and then the next update crypt equipment. That'd be a nice way to balance it. But let's move on to the next section of this video. This section is going to cover confirmed characters. What does that mean? This kind of character is confirmed going to be added in the next update or the one following it. Let me explain. Classic movie Raiden was added first, right? And then MK11 Liu Kang was added in the next update. So they skipped adding another classic movie member until the update after Liu Kang, which then they added classic movie Johnny Cage, but instead of skipping, they went straight to adding classic movie Sonya. Their order doesn't really make sense. They just sometimes do it or they don't. Now, what team are we talking about? The Edenian Blood team. Yes, they need to be finished, and there's only a couple options available. I'm going to go over the ones that are most plausible and the ones that are least plausible. But one of these is coming. Let's first start off with Jade. There are so many Jades in this game. I don't think Jade will be the last Edenian Blood member, but if she is, I do think she's going to be kind of a, scantily version, because that's kind of what Rain appears to be, but it's not what Katana is. So it doesn't really make much sense, but they could just choose to go with the scantily version, or they could go with the one where she has a hood on. Other than that, I don't think any other form of Jade would be coming, but that's the first one they could be adding, so Edenian Blood Jade. Our second option is Edenian Blood Sindel. Now this would be cool, because just like all these gold characters get so much attention and so many cool features, like Rain's soaking and Katana's blocking feature is so cool. If they were made into diamonds, their replayability and usefulness would go up by 1,000,000%. And that's why it really sucks with their golds, but we still have to cover it anyways. Sindel, I think it's going to be kind of the dark-eyed skin that I showed. She's got red eyes in that one. I think that's what they're going to go with, but they could go with, like just a pink version. She doesn't have very many variations of herself. They all look roughly the same. So I think they're going to go with something that stands out the most, which would be the ones with the red eyes. That's just me, though. Maybe they don't decide to go with Sindel. If they don't, then there's only one other character they could add for the Edenian Blood team. Mileena. Now, there's some pretty cool Mileena skins out there. But if you had to ask me which one I think they would add, it'd probably be one where she looks more Tarkatan, kind of scantily. Similar to Rain. I don't know why I get that vibe. I feel like they're just going to go with something like that. If not, a more scantily, just, normal Mileena looking version like this. She kind of looks like Jade, actually, with Jade's outfit, but I think Katana has one too. I feel like it'd be a shot in the foot if they added MK11 Mileena as an Edenian Blood character, because we would not get a new X-ray, and it's also a slap in the face to the fans who just want a damn MK11 Diamond Mileena, because there are so many cool playstyles you can do with MK11 Mileena. In fact, she's a really good character in MK11, and that's why I would love to see an actual MK11 Mileena and not just an Edenian Blood. What's interesting is that in MK1 she actually is Katana's sister, but in MK9 she was made in the lab to replace Katana by Shang Tsung. Now we're moving on to section 3. Unconfirmed characters. We're going to split this up because there are plausible characters and then there are, fantasy characters. The ones I want to see anyways. Before we get into that, I do want to say people were saying that they want to see Jared as the last Edenian Blood team member, and that would be really funny. Now, Jared hasn't been a playable character in pretty much any of the MK games, just some of the older ones, I think. Wouldn't it be so funny if they actually made an MK1 Edenian Blood Jared character? Like, what? It's not gonna happen, but I just thought I'd bring it up because it's pretty funny. The last Edenian blood member is going to be the final character we can confirm. Classic movie is a special type of skin in MK11, and I don't really think there's anything else for them to do for a special skin. They have to start making it up. They'd have to start just theming something similar to each other if they're going to create a new team like Classic movie. We're at a crossroad, guys. Will the developers finally start adding MK1 characters, even though MK1 is only releasing in September? Or will the developers just continue to add MK11? That's why 5.1 is going to be so important, because we're going to see if they do continue to add MK11 characters, or if they're going to start experimenting with MK1. I hope it's MK1. I know there's some cool MK11 characters that they still have yet to add, but screw it. Let's make this game lively again. Add some brand new MK1 characters. Those movesets look so cool, and I think it'd be nice to start just bringing attention to this game. I think MK1 would be a great way to do that. But let's be real. They're probably going to be adding MK11 characters next update. I'm just going to say it now. I think the next character is going to be an MK11 skin, just like MK11 Liu Kang, but potentially new characters. You guys are sick of the poll winners. I get it. The poll winners were from the survey back in 2021 for our character wish list, if you have not heard of this before. The top 10 characters, well, most of them have been added. 6 of the characters have been added, 4 remain. MK11 Frost, MK11 Mileena, Injustice 2 Subzero, and Corrupted Shinnok. Corrupted Shinnok is so important because he's not an MK11 character, which means it'd be pretty difficult to make him, number 1. And number 2, he wasn't even a playable character in MKX. He was just a final boss. So to make brand new movesets for him and a victory stance would probably be pretty time consuming. I was thinking personally that that would be what the crypt was based on, and maybe you could purchase him, although that did not happen. If you want to be realistic, let's say the developers were in over their heads and they have no intentions of adding Corrupted Shinnok, and a lot of the characters on the survey were not going to be added even if they won. So let's take away Corrupted Shinnok and Injustice 2 Subzero. Let's take those 2 away. That leaves us with 2 characters that are super easy to add, which are still likely, like MK11 Frost and MK11 Mileena. Why not? First off, Frost. Frost would give a brand new moveset to the game. There's no chance of her being copied or cloned because it'd be the first time Frost is introduced. She's a pretty cool character. It might not be Christmas in mid-October, but that's okay. It's close enough, right? They could be adding the Frost then, right? And that'd be a nice little addition to the MK11 team. And guess who's the second member? Injustice 2 Subzero. Now this is not going to happen, let's be real. But if they did, that'd be pretty sick. Now MK11 Mileena. MK11 Mileena's movesets are fun, engaging, a fun character that I think a lot of people would want to own a copy of and maybe even spend money on. Because at the end of the day, we have to know that it is a financial incentive. If they get more control on souls and they get more control on microtransactions, they can definitely profit from people just even wanting to buy a copy or 2 of her. And that's why they introduced the collection packs. Instead of having to gamble, you just get a guaranteed copy of said character. It's still pretty expensive, but it's important to note because even if you don't get them from all the free offers, like Classic Movie Sonya Blade she was in a soul pack and she's going to be in Edenian Tower Fatal. But if you didn't get the chance to get her, you can buy her in the collection pack. Or, $10, 20% chance as always. I would love to see MK11 Mileena added, but hypothetically speaking, now with all the possible or plausible characters to be talked about here, let's start getting into MK1 and really unconfirmed territory. Now we move on to the next segment of this video, which is my favorite, wacky predictions. We get to have an all-out prediction war where I get to just share my unfiltered thoughts on what I want to see. And we're going to be covering MK1. With the new game's release, there are a ton of new characters and redesigns, of course, for each individual character. We get to just make predictions on everything. Even with Unreal Engine 4, they should still be able to add a majority of the MK1 characters. It's not that difficult. if it's an Unreal Engine 4 character, putting it in an Unreal Engine 4 game, you just make the asset look worse. And they've done this with a few characters. Sindel does not look as good as she does in MK11. Clearly. Some characters, they nailed pretty well, like Rain. Out of all the MK1 characters, which ones would I like to see in MK Mobile first? Okay, out of all MK1 characters, the one I want them to start with is Scorpion. I know it's basic. I get it, guys. I know it's basic. But Scorpion! They always start with Scorpion and Subzero in all their games. But for some reason, with the closed beta and the beta stress test, they didn't have Scorpion available. He appeared in the trailer and that's it. Alright then. Besides Scorpion and Subzero, which characters that I've played in MK1, yes, because I played the beta, you can go watch my live stream, I played with a few on there, which one of those would I want to appear in MK1? Definitely LAKEY. Okay, so that's the first one. LAKEY, she's incredible. Her combos are so fun, and she's overall just a very easy character to play. But most importantly, the character that shocked me the most, Johnny Cage. Oh my lord, is MK1 Johnny Cage so much better than MK11. I'm not trying to say MK11 Johnny is bad. I think MK11 Johnny is amazing. But MK1 Johnny is on a whole nother level. Yes, he doesn't have his green shadow effect. It's now just black. But the character with all the movesets and everything is just better. I love it. It is so fun to play. And the way he has his middle finger adjusts his glasses. He speaks with a lot of profanity, which is pretty funny. And they even have a reference to a YouTuber who's like uncaged. Overall, I just had a blast playing Johnny Cage. And if we're just going to go off of characters I played, like I said, not counting what characters are going to be coming in the full game's release, Johnny Cage. That's the first character I'd want to be added. First character. Yeah. I know it's a shock. I would say MK1 Katana because of how just beautiful she is. But Johnny Cage is so fun. And there's this star meter. And if you build up this star, you're able to combo your attacks more. I didn't do it. Not in this video. You're basically able to enhance your ability. This could be super cool for MK Mobile. So I hope MK1 Johnny Cage somehow makes an appearance. I mean, MK1 characters are inevitable for Mortal Kombat Mobile. They literally will happen. They will run out of MKX and MK11 characters to add. They will. But if they continue to add MKX and MK11 characters for a long time, that's boring. So we're hoping that they just go, we'll add MK11 characters as a side every now and then, but let's start with MK1. That's the spirit I'd want to see. I'd want to see an MK1 and MK11 in the same update. That'd be alright. Also, if we're gonna keep adding paid-only golds, count me out. Just make 2 diamonds every update, you guys. Seriously. If it's a gold that's locked behind a paywall for an entire update, just make it a damn diamond, alright? I don't even want a gold and a diamond if it's not obtainable in the update. Just make it able to be purchased from the crypt store once. That's it. One time. Boom! Problem solved. And a few other characters I played. Katana. Now, Katana is absolutely gorgeous. She is so beautiful. I always thought the face of MK11 Katana looked just a tiny bit off. But then again, in MK1, her mask is on, which could be causing me to not see the imperfections of rendering a full face. When MK11 Katana has her mask on, it's less noticeable and definitely looks better. That's just my opinion. Compared to Johnny Cage, she is amazing. And if she got added into MK Mobile as one of the first, no complaints here, alright? I'm dropping $10 million on her. ASAP, alright? If she doesn't get max in the first 9 million, I've got to drop another million, guys. Seriously. Unfortunately, I got called a simp for this. Now, the simp didn't bother me, because who wouldn't simp for Katana? Unfortunately, simp turned to wimp. And, that one hurt more. Don't call me a wimp, alright? Simp's fine. Wimp? No. Alright. Of course, we can't forget Fire God Liu Kang, aka MK1 Liu Kang. We're just gonna call him MK1 so there's no confusion between the MK Mobile version. MK1 Liu Kang would be a cool addition. Fire God Liu Kang is already pretty unique, so I'm not sure what they would do for a passive, but his bicycle kick has been replaced with a shadow type of kick. It also looks pretty cool, and one of his fatalities is immaculate. It's literally him, like, creating a reality and killing you with it. It's insane. His current fatality is also pretty cool, although really brutal. Both of them are. His fatal blow, awesome. Now, if they were to add MK1 characters, what would they do for the victory stances? This is a question I don't think many people are asking, but I like to just throw things in that I notice. I think the victory stances would be the same from MKX up until the final one, and the final one would be the one at the end of a match. When you finish a match, here's what a few of them look like. This is Katana's, this is Johnny Cage's, this is Li Mei's, and this is Liu Kang's. Those are all their victory poses. And I think those would just be the final ones that they have on. If not, they would probably just use MK11 victory stances. It would be no problem. Or if more brutalities get introduced in the future, just like Edenian Blood Rain, they just gave him a victory stance at the end of a brutality. The next character I would love to see added is Kenshi. Again, honestly, any one of these characters being added first is no biggie. I would want Johnny Cage firstly, because just how fun he is, but if it wasn't Johnny Cage, no big deal, because this lineup is still incredible. The least thrilled I'd be is probably Subzero, but because it's an MK1 Subzero, I'd be happy anyways, because then they're starting with MK1s, telling us that, hey, we're going to keep adding MK1 characters. Now, Kenshi is one of my most used characters. Back in MKX days, I used Possessed Kenshi a whole lot, and my cousin, which we used to battle in MK Mobile, we couldn't really, though, because we found out the game was not online. We were very young, okay? He used Balanced Kenshi, and I used Possessed Kenshi. There's a clear difference between the fighting styles, but I loved Possessed Kenshi because of his fire on his tag, and some people might even be using him right now. I personally use diamonds nowadays, but back then, Kenshi was my most used character. Incredible, loved him. And in MK1, Kenshi's playstyle is incredible, and he is super fun to play. Holy crap, he is so cool. He might be one of the easiest characters to play as a beginner in MK1. I'm saying it, because I tried just a few combinations, and I got it right the first time. And I did a lot of damage. I don't think I was on medium mode for the difficulty, but it didn't change anything. Still, Kenshi's fatal blow is pretty fun, but that fatality, yikes. That one's harsh. Here's what his victory stance looks like. Lastly, we have Subzero. I was never a big Subzero player in MK Mobile. I think I used Grandmaster a little bit for a while there, but I just wasn't a huge fan of his combo unders. And still, even in MK1, I didn't necessarily enjoy him as much, but he was still fun to play. His design kind of reminds me of Injustice 2 Sub-Zero, with his hands being frozen. Sorry, his hand and part of his arm. I meant to say that. When it gets frozen, it reminds me of Injustice 2 Sub-Zero, because Injustice 2 Sub-Zero's design is just having frozen from half the arm up to the hand, right? His X-Ray is brutal. And when you use him and Frost as the cameo, they do work together pretty well, because they're both ice, you know? It would still be sick if MK Mobile actually did introduce an update that brought MK11 Frost and Injustice 2 Sub-Zero, and if they were both diamonds. If they did that in one update, you betcha this game would restore with a ton of players. And made a, like, Christmas-themed tower, that would be incredible. To replace Cold War, because clearly Cold War is out of rotation. And finally, the Crypt might be giving us a way to purchase Cold War gear. Since they're going to be putting brutalities in there every now and then, maybe we can finally get Cold War gear in there without having to re-air the tower, which could be deemed as offensive. So we just covered all of the characters that are in the closed beta. We're going to cover more, but before we do that, I want to talk about cameos. Cameos are nuts. Alright, how is that going to translate into MK Mobile? Hypothetically, if they do an MK1 update to MK Mobile. How is that going to work? Well, if you want to go back in the day, the first ever semi-cameo in MK Mobile was when we had the ally points. And the ally points let you use an ally's X-ray mid-battle. So for example, if we had Liu Kang, Raiden, and Kenshi on a team, Katana could be our ally that we pick from this menu here. You had to have Wi-Fi turned on for this though. You pick the ally you want, the ally hero, and you can use their X-ray mid-battle to help you. With a cameo system, it could be similar. Maybe you press that button for them to come on in, and if you press it at a bad time, the enemy can interrupt you. Did I just say enemy? That sounded kind of funny. But this could be a cool concept to, you know, maybe give players nostalgia for the fact that they played the game so long ago that they were around for the ally system. I certainly was. It didn't last very long, and the developers removed it. And the points purchased a pack which was mediocre at best. Someone said potentially if a cameo is to exist, maybe it just comes up during an X-ray. However, how are they going to pick which cameo to put in an X-ray with the character? Like Jax Briggs and Sonya, Jax Briggs and Frost, who's gonna be the cameo in the X-rays? We don't really know. Maybe what they could do is make cameos a cosmetic. Every update, they add a new cameo that you can pick from, and it applies to all characters. But only the MK1 characters, so that they can realistically make it happen. They probably don't want to go back and make MKX and MK11 X-rays work with the cameos. That would be a whole lot of work. So going forward, they release MK1 characters and a cameo cosmetic, which can change with the amount of cameos being added each update. That'd be a cool concept, but that's the only kind of concept I have for cameos. Other than that, it would be very chaotic. There are a few equipments in this game that have entities that help you mid-battle, but it's nothing like a character constantly coming out there and helping you in the field. It would be very chaotic for new players to understand how that's working and taking effect. Alright, now we're going to be covering the last section of this video. The MK1 roster has a lot of confirmed characters, but they aren't in the beta. And if they aren't finished and ready to go in the beta, I personally do not think that those would be the first to be added into MK Mobile. I think they would start with the ones they have done first. Although, keep in mind that the game will be officially releasing on September 19th. Okay, why is that important? Because the update for MK Mobile is probably going to be like at the end of September or October. If the full game adds characters like Raiden, Scorpion, Nightwolf, Havoc, Sindel, Gyros, Ashra, etc., then yeah, I think that they could potentially make their way to MK Mobile first. But let's just get started with covering this. Now, the first character I want to talk about, which is the most important, and he will be making his appearance in MK Mobile very shortly, I think actually in the next day or two, it's Realm Warrior Man. Man has been a long time coming. He has to be added into MK Mobile. The developers have teased him relentlessly, making him a Realm Warrior. And they're going to be stylizing him after Raiden, and he's going to counter Jade entirely. When Jade lays her eyes upon Man, she just melts. That's it. And she just dies. Boom, like a fireball. That's the perfect counter to Jade, and this is the way that Man will now be happy going forward in MK Mobile. Okay, in all seriousness, let's actually show real Raiden. Raiden, I mean, MK11 Raiden's voice is gone. They replaced him with a younger, he still has powers, but a younger Raiden who's been trained by Liu Kang, which is a reversal of the roles. MK1 Raiden looks like he's a pretty fun character to play based on the trailers alone. Yeah, I mean, he could be a cool addition to Mortal Kombat Mobile. Another one to be adding into MK Mobile, Tanya. Now, when Tanya was a default unrendered character in MK Onslaught, which is, if you don't know what Onslaught is, it's a new Mortal Kombat mobile type game, but it's an RPG. It's available in the Philippines and Australia and a few other locations on iOS app stores. Apparently going to be the MK1 model, according to predictions, but what happened is they just gave her a Pyromancer Tanya MKX look, and she apparently is voiced by the new actor, which is conflicting since the new design of Tanya is completely different from the Onslaught version. Whatever though. Tanya could be added into MK Mobile. I don't know if she'd be a gold or diamond. I'm imagining some of these characters would be golds, let's be real. Rain, sexy man, sexy man. I want to see him added into MK Mobile so bad. The new one, we already have so many great Rains, but there's no limit to Rains. Okay, Netherrealm, you can't stop adding Rains. Keep adding every variation imaginable of Rain. I don't care. I love him so much. He must be continued. Okay, point said and done. MK1 Rain would be a cool addition into MK Mobile, but again, it would be a little difficult to write off new abilities considering they have so many of them already. Baraka, he looks worse in MK1. Like his condition looks worse. He looks like he really has an illness in MK1. And he always did technically since he's Tarkatan, but in this game the illness is ramped up significantly. We don't have a Diamond Baraka. This would be cool to add him. Nightwolf apparently. Now Nightwolf might have been teased by the developers, so he'll be making an appearance in MK1. It'd be cool to see him added. I can't say Nightwolf is super high up on my list to be added into MK Mobile. And the last ones to mention are Reptile, Shao Kahn, and Ashura. Now, Reptile, sick because of his transformation mid-battle. Like his form is awesome, and it would be the second ever Diamond Reptile to be added into the game, but it'd be an important one. I would hope his playstyle would be super unique and fun. Shao Kahn, don't need him. Honestly, I don't think we need a new Shao Kahn. I don't even think we need an MK11 Shao Kahn. I think there's so many better characters to add. That's just my personal opinion. I think Conqueror does his job. He's not perfect. He's really slow. But overall, he's supposed to be that way since he's a tank. He's always been a, I'm going to just swing a hammer at you. You can't tell me a character holding a 60,000 ton hammer is going to be super fast. So I don't think so. But they could still add one. Ashura, I don't know much about her. I do remember her from the trailer, but it's not a huge priority on my wish list. I don't think we're going to add obscure characters first. I think they're going to focus on more the well-known ones because this is MK Mobile, and it'd be easier for them to generalize. Kung Lao. Yeah, I could see them doing that. Kung Lao, we only have one diamond version at the moment, and we've always needed an MK11 Kung Lao, but maybe they can just add an MK1 and skip MK11. I don't know what his playstyle is. I think it was shown a little bit in the trailer. Looks decent. He should be fine. Next up, Sindel. If she looks anything like her mommy design in MK11, count me in. So yes, I would like to see MK1 Sindel. Gyros, he looks better in MK1. I think he looks like a more engaging and fun character to play. So I would say add the MK1 first. And Natara and Havoc. Both obscure characters. Like I said, don't think they would focus on those first. And out of all those, the last one I'm going to cover is Mileena. Mileena, she's alright. I don't have much to say about her. I'm not a huge fan of her new design. I hope she has a mask on with one of her skins. Her new hairdo is similar to one of the skins in MK11, which I covered here. But forget about MK characters. Let's talk about DLC. We missed 3 though. Takeda, Ermac, and Shang Tsung. Takeda would be sick. MK1 Takeda and MK Mobile could be the new Takeda we need. Ermac, I don't like his new design. I think he should have a mask on. But maybe they'll give him a skin with a mask on and it'll fix a lot of his facial issues. He kind of looks like MKX Ermac, which was also not liked by most of the community. MK11's design was seriously cool. I don't know why they didn't just stick with that one. People wanted it so bad, and then they're like, what if we just don't do that, but for MK1? Oh yeah, also Quan Chi. Quan Chi, I'm gonna say, alright, if they want to add it, they want to add it. I don't really care about Quan Chi that much. It'd be cool to have another one since we only have one Diamond Quan Chi. Lastly, the DLC. There are 3 DLC characters that are exclusive. I think only one of these is possible to be added into MK Mobile. This is my personal opinion. But we have Homelander, Peacemaker, and Omni-Man. I think they would only want to get one license to add them. And if they're going to be adding any character into MK Mobile, it better be Homelander, okay? Homelander or Omni-Man. I want Homelander over Omni-Man, but since they're both similar in a lot of ways, it would still be super cool to have Omni-Man, right? But Homelander, oh my god, it's literally my favorite show. The Boys is one of my favorite shows of all time, okay? So please, just hear me out on this one. NetherRealm Studios, if you're thinking about which one to license Homelander. And if you license Peacemaker to go against me, then frick you, politely. There's not much more to say. Besides, there are a lot of cameos, which are MK1 classic characters. Sector, classic Subzero, which is just Bihan. There's no Noob Saibot in here in these cameos, but there's another Johnny Cage apparently, Mavado, Tremor, Ferrator, Chameleon, Kano, Striker. I don't think any of these cameos are going to be fully playable characters, and with that being said, I don't imagine they would be able to be added into MK Mobile. It would be super cool to have classic MK1 characters added into MK Mobile. And when I say MK1, not to be confusing MK1 with the new MK1, I'm talking about the old MK1, alright? Please, let's try to divide the two, because these characters have the original design. It'd be cool if they were able to add those, but I highly doubt it. Striker, but I would love to see Striker in MK Mobile, alright? So if they could figure out a way to get Striker, it'd be pretty sick. But that's it for this video, guys. Alright? Those are all my predictions and all the characters I want to see. We covered the plausible ones from MK11, and we also covered MK1, my favorite predictions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me just give a big shout out to my YouTube members. We have JDB, Braden, Friendly Guy with the Spurger, Press GG, Darkside, Noxon, Bagor, Ez Halarson, Legend YT, Titan Beast, Lace, Jan, Tolga, Hamath, Stan Marsh, Giuliano Games, Tab, Random, Combat Max, Goku, Aiden, Katana, Plain Punch, Jeremy, Ghosty XL, Shocks YT, Jeff, Grimmer Mia, Fitz Magic, Massive Cool, Rosislav, and MK Fire. Thank you all for being YouTube members, and welcome to the new members. And yeah, peace out.